Hi, everyone. It's Nanaz Mohtashami from the Redefiners. So, as you may all have heard by now, we recently announced that my colleague Hoda Tahoun will be taking over as Clark's co-host. And I have to say, I think you are in amazing hands. As much as I am going to miss the Redefiners, I think Hoda will do an amazing job. Hoda, thank you for joining me today.
Nanaz, thank you so much for having me. And I must say, I do feel quite intimidated to be following in your footsteps. You have left an incredible mark on Redefiners. So thank you for all that you've done.
It is so kind of you to say that, but I think our listeners are in for a treat with you, Hoda. So
thank you.
There is always an initiation process, right? This is your
Yes.
initiation process, Redefiner style. So we would love to get to help our listeners get to know you a bit better. So we're going to give to you what you're going to give to all the upcoming guests, right? A set of rapid fire questions. But before we go there, can you sort of tell us a little bit about what you do at Russell Reynolds, how long you've been with the firm, what kind of work you do?
Absolutely. So I had the privilege to join Russell Reynolds in 2017. I'm based in our Miami office and I lead the global leisure and hospitality practice, which is a lot of fun now that we've been very much out of the pandemic. I spend most of my time working with clients across cruise, hotels, restaurants, leisure, airlines. I mean, all really, really very fun stuff. And I've been doing this collectively for about 12 years now. And I spent about a decade before that in investment banking, where I did actually specialize in hospitality. And I worked both in the US and in Dubai for about 4 years after grad school.
Fantastic. And Hoda, a little bit about your personal life. I feel like over the sort of episodes, people got to know a bit about my son. My dad featured in it quite a bit. So tell us a little bit about you. Who are the important people on the personal side?
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm a first generation American, born in the United States to two immigrant parents that moved from Egypt. I've spent most of my adult life in the United States, but I grew up and had my formative years in Bahrain. And my family is everything to me. So I am the oldest of 5, and I have a beautiful niece who has stolen my heart. She's 4 years old and continues to find more space in my heart.
Fantastic. Right. Time for the main event. Are you ready?
I think I'm ready.
Right. Question number 1, Hoda, how do you like to spend your free time?
So these days, I spend a lot of my free time playing tennis and biking. So I learned tennis, or I took up tennis lessons during the pandemic. So I'm about 3.5 years in. I think I can hold my own, but I'm still working on my serve.
Okay, so a very sporty girl,
yes,
our listeners. Now, question number 2, what do you think is the number 1 skill that all leaders should have?
I think vulnerability. And I think it's one of the things that we've seen a lot more of as we sort of are in this post-pandemic world. I mean, not to say that all the other skills are not important, but I think vulnerability is trending up.
Okay. Question number 3, if you could travel anywhere in the world tomorrow, where would it be?
Brazil.
Okay, and why? And why?
There is something magical about Brazil. Every time I've been, I've had an amazing time. The food, the culture, the people, the music, the samba. I just can't get enough of it. And I love Brazil so much that I recently started taking Portuguese lessons so that when I go back, I get to immerse myself a little bit more.
Fantastic. And I'm delighted you say that because I have already booked a trip to Brazil for our family over Christmas.
Oh,
so
amazing.
It's way ahead, but we're so excited.
Well, I'll have to give you all my notes.
Please. Next question. What is a fun fact about you that people don't know?
This is probably going to sound like an odd one, but I think because I am multilingual and multicultural, I get asked if I am from different parts all over the world. So I'm a little bit of like this Carmen Sandiego, like
Yeah.
where is she from?
Yeah.
So that's actually kind of fun. So if I go to Brazil, people think I'm Brazilian. If I go to Colombia, if I go to France, so it's kind of a little bit of a fun fact. And I usually just roll with it. I usually play an alter ego when I'm on vacation and have a local name to accompany on my travels.
How many people actually get the fact that you're from the Middle East? You get that
About
often?
about 1 out of 5. It's not
Okay.
frequent. Yeah.
No, it's not frequent.
Yeah.
Okay, a couple of questions now about the redefiners.
Yes.
An obvious one. What is your redefiner moment?
My redefiner moment was when the market crashed globally during the financial crisis in 2008 and 2009. I was living in Dubai. I was in investment banking. I wasn't happy. I was far from home. It's a 14-hour flight from Dubai to New York. And I sat with people who were giving me career advice. And the best advice I heard was, do you want to be a big fish in perhaps a smaller pond? Not to say that the Middle East is small, but smaller compared to the United States. Or do you want to be a big fish in a big pond? And both are okay. And both can probably lead to absolutely wonderful career success. But you kind of have to decide now, because I was 10 years into working at that point, 10 or 12 years. And I decided that I wanted to be a big fish in a big pond. And I went through the process of also deciding what I really wanted to do with my life and my career. And it was actually at that time that I switched industries and went from investment banking to talent consulting. And I am exactly where I'm supposed to be because I absolutely love what I do. And I think if I did not have the right counsel, I don't know if I would be here today. And so I always just say, lean on people who you know and trust to give you advice in moments where you may feel a little vulnerable. But it has that moment in my life has redefined me and has allowed me to actually be sitting today with you.
Fantastic. And then last question, Hoda, what excites you the most about joining the Redefiners team?
I mean, I have dreamed about being on a podcast, so this feels incredibly special. I think what most excites me is the fact to be able to interview and get to know some really amazing people from all different industries who will share their successes and what's made them stand out and redefine themselves in their spaces. And I think that that's going to be an incredible learning for me and for all the listeners.
Yeah. I have to say, I agree with that. I think what I will miss is just the privilege of meeting and interviewing so many amazing people, right?
Yeah.
We've had some fantastic guests.
Yeah. And the roster of guests continues to be amazing.
Absolutely. Well, look, thank you so much. Lots of fun facts that we've all learned about you.
Nanaz, thank you so much. This was absolutely amazing. And now I can empathize with our guests because you put me through the rapid fire questions. In all seriousness, though, I'm so honored again to be following in your footsteps. And I know I will be coming to you in the future for some of your best tips and tricks.
Absolutely. Anytime, Hoda. And I know you're going to do an amazing job. Thank you to all the listeners for tuning in. As a quick FYI, Hoda's first episode will drop on Wednesday, May 17th, and it is going to be with an unbelievably fun guest. So please don't miss it and don't forget to subscribe. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.